Hi, welcome to our semester project part 3. In our group we have Becca, Zoe, Deja, Carly, and Sydney. We wanted to make sure that we drew our project into a gospel perspective, and we were able to do that through this quote by Elder Oaks. I love this quote because I feel that it encapsulates our project, our class, and the gospel all into one. And we are told in this quote that by being mean, by bullying, by insulting, by speaking languages that hurt others, we are violating the Savior's commandment that we need to love one another. We thought that was great and that it fit everything perfectly for this class and this assignment. Some factors that were important to our decision, we wanted to make sure that we were not singling students out. We did not want anyone to feel victimized, whether they were the student that was being bullied or whether they were the bully. We knew that if students felt victimized, nothing would get better with the situation. We knew that we had to make sure and make the student not feel like they were being singled out. We also knew that since we were addressing children, that we had to keep it simple. The simpler it was, the better the kids would get, and we wanted to make sure that it was on their level. Something that we would still do, we would still make sure that we taught the students through stories that they felt that they could relate to. This was huge for us. We wanted to make sure that we read a book the students could understand it, they could feel like they were learning something without thinking that they were learning something. So they were able to enjoy the book, but also learn. That was crucial for us with this. We wanted to make sure the students understood bullying without calling anyone out. And that was an excellent part of sharing a storybook with them to teach them something. There were a couple of things we would have changed. We would make sure next time to pull the student aside and address the student and the things that have happened. That way the student knows that there is improvement to be done on their part. We would also make sure that we have open discussions with our students about what we expect out of them. And we would make sure that we included the students in this, that they would be able to feel like they were contributing to the classroom. We also wanted to include parents, that way they knew that there was an issue and that we were working on fixing the issue. Another thing that we realized that we could help was we could help the student understand what they were doing wrong better. And we figured that we could do that by doing verbal scaffolding. This is something that we read about in this class, and verbal scaffolding means that we could paraphrase and restate what the student was doing and state it in a way that said correct English. And we felt that that could help the student to see the problem. We could also have the student try and read out what they were writing and then help them figure out which letter it was that they messed up. We thought that that would be a great way to help the student understand what they did wrong without making them feel like they did something terrible. One of the important things that we would do next time is we would pull the student aside. We would pull them aside because we want them to know that there was a problem and that we do not accept that kind of behavior in our classroom. We would make sure to do it in a loving manner, but also it needed to be done that way. Both parties can know that there is concern and that we care about them being nice to each other. We would have an open class discussion to talk about things that were happening at our school beyond just the academic and what they were learning. This helps our students to be able to feel like they are informed about what's going on at school. It also helps the teachers to feel like they can know what's going on at school and helps students feel safe. We want to make sure that the students help make classroom rules. This helps the student to feel involved. It also helps the student to if they make consequences, they can't be expected to not deal with the consequences of their actions because they helped make them, and they are not ridiculous if the students help make them. I think that this is a key thing in helping students feel included and help them to be able to cooperate better. We would make sure that we engage the parents, because if the parents were engaged, then they could help at home. If at home they are being told that it is okay, then they will come to school and do it. If at school they're being told that it's not okay and then they go home and it is okay, it is not consistent and it's difficult for the child. We need to make sure that we are being consistent with what is going on at home and at school. Engaging the parents helps us to be more consistent. So our project had a lot of diversity in it based on just who we are and our learning styles. A couple of us had random, and a couple of us were sequential learners, and this helped each of us to be able to contribute ideas, to sit in the shadows, to be able to act on parts that we felt that we were good at. It also helped us all to be able to work well together because we each had strengths in different areas. This is a list of our references, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video and to listen to our project.